You are not tired. You are uninspired. And every time you say you're exhausted, what you really mean is that your soul is starving. Your spirit is not meant to be caged in hesitation and second guessing. Your bones are not built to carry the weight of indecision. You were not made for a life of stalling and compromise. The fire in you never went out. It's just been buried beneath the ashes of comfort, fear, and doubt, the three demons that whisper in your ear when you're too still for too long. Doubt is the voice of a world that fears your becoming. But discipline is the voice of your becoming itself. Because if you waited until you felt like it, you'd never do a damn thing that mattered. You think greatness happens in the light, in the moments of confidence, when everything lines up perfectly? No. Greatness happens in the shadows, in silence, in the places where no one claps, where no one sees, where no one even believes in you yet, especially not you. But you move anyway. You build anyway. You wake up and you honor your commitments to yourself even when you don't believe in them yet. You act with faith that your discipline will outlast your doubt, because it will. Doubt is emotional. Discipline is existential. Doubt rides the tides of your mood, your hormones, your sleep, the weather, the validation of others. But discipline is the God you kneel to when the world forgets your name. It's not loud, it's not flashy, it is quiet, it is brutal, and it is yours. Understand this. The life you want is not waiting for you to feel ready. It is waiting for you to bleed for it. Not once, every day. Every time your alarm goes off and your body screams for 5 more minutes, that is a test. Every time you're about to do the thing you promised yourself, and doubt tells you it's pointless, that is the moment you either die a little or rise. Do you understand? This isn't about motivation. Motivation is a drug. It hits, it fades. What I'm talking about is war. War with your own mediocrity. War with a story in your head that says, not yet, not me, maybe later. You will never be free until your word to yourself is stronger than the world's opinion of you. Do you want to know why most people never change? Because their standards are negotiable. Their self-respect is up for debate. Their boundaries depend on how tired they are, how scared they are, how lonely they are. But the warrior, the disciplined mind, they do not negotiate with weakness. They wake up and go to war with it. Every single day. This is what Carl Jung meant when he said, no tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. That hell, that abyss, it's not somewhere outside you. It's the chaos inside your own soul and your willingness to face it without flinching. Discipline is not about control. It's about integrity. It is the ability to keep a promise to yourself long after the mood in which you made it has died. And that's why most people can't do it, because they only operate at the level of feeling, not of principle. But your future does not care how you feel. It only cares what you build. And you are either building your throne or your prison, brick by brick, choice by choice. That's the truth no one wants to hear. It's easier to blame the economy, your parents, your ex, your boss, your brain chemistry, and yes, maybe all of those things are real. But none of them change the fact that you are still responsible for who you become. And who you become is not determined by what you think. It's determined by what you tolerate, what you accept, what you reinforce through your actions or your lack of them. So you better start asking yourself right now, what do I do when no one's watching? Because that is who you really are. Not your Instagram profile, not the version of yourself you show on dates. The raw, unfiltered, primal version of you that exists in solitude when the room is dark, when the pressure hits, when the options are fight or fold, that's the you that decides your future. And don't lie to yourself, you know what you need to do. You've always known. You don't need more clarity, more planning, more books, more TikTok tips on productivity. You need to get to work. You need to stop trying to feel your way into action. and start acting your way into feeling. Because no one is coming to save you. There is no rescue mission, no cavalry, no guru with the perfect plan. There is only you and the choices you make when the doubt gets loud. So let your discipline be louder. Let it roar. Let it drown out the voice that tells you you're too broken, too late, too far gone. Because that voice is lying. You are not broken. You are undisciplined. And discipline is a skill. It can be built. It is forged like steel through fire, pressure, and time. Not all at once. But every time you choose to act instead of excuse, to persist instead of retreat, to build instead of whine, you are becoming. You are becoming someone that doubt can't touch. Because the doubt doesn't go away. You just learn to ignore it. You learn that it's a passenger in the back seat, not the one driving. You become a force, a mind so focused that fear becomes irrelevant. And do not confuse this with perfection. You will fail. You will break. You will fall into patterns and self-sabotage and grief and guilt and mess up again and again. But you get back up every time. Not because you feel good, but because you said you would. That's what makes you dangerous. That's what makes you unstoppable. That's what separates the ones who fantasize from the ones who actualize. Because the truth is brutal. You are not owed results. You are not owed progress just because you tried for a week. This world does not bend to your feelings, it bends to your will. And will is not built in comfort. It is built in the trenches, in the cold, lonely, hard mornings, in the moments when you feel forgotten, in the hunger, the sweat, the silence. You are either training your mind to submit to discomfort or letting it train you to run from it. And whatever you train, you strengthen. So, if you train hesitation, you get hesitation. If you train doubt, you get doubt. But if you train discipline, the real kind, the one that shows up when it's raining, when it's boring, when it's hard, when it's humiliating, then you get freedom. Because make no mistake, discipline is freedom. Freedom from guilt, from shame, from regret, from the haunting sense that you're wasting your life. Freedom from needing others to believe in you. Freedom from the tyranny of your own moods. And the price of that freedom is everything you're afraid to let go of. Your excuses, your laziness, your craving for comfort, your fear of looking stupid, your addiction to instant gratification. You will lose them all. And in their place, you will gain yourself. Not the polished version, not the curated one, the real you. The one hidden underneath all the noise and excuses. The one who's been waiting to lead. But first you must earn your own respect. Not through words, not through ideas, through action, through sacrifice. Through doing what you said you would do over and over until your entire being is shaped by it. That's discipline. And when it becomes your religion, doubt becomes irrelevant. Because now, you don't need to believe in the outcome, you just need to believe in your ability to show up every time. Without apology, without negotiation. That is power. That is peace. That is the quiet roar of a man or woman who has faced themselves and chosen to rise anyway. That is you. And you are just getting started. You don't need louder motivation. You need deeper conviction. Because if your why is skin deep, then your resolve will bleed at the first cut. But if your why is rooted in the marrow of your soul, there is no blade sharp enough to break it. And that's the difference between the person who falls apart when it gets hard and the one who becomes even more dangerous. Most people are looking for reasons to stop. You build reasons to keep going. This is the battlefield where destinies are forged. In the tiny, invisible moments no one ever sees. The moments where quitting whispers with honeyed lips promising ease, comfort, and relief, and you stare it dead in the face and say, no, not today, not ever, because You didn't come this far to negotiate with mediocrity. You came to kill it. This is where the old self dies. The one who hesitated, the one who waited for permission, the one who was addicted to potential but allergic to effort. That version of you, burn it. Cremate it with every rep, every word, every step forward that you take, when everything inside screams to stay still. There is no glory in being ready. There is only transformation in being committed. Do you think the greatest minds, the titans of history, the men and women who reshaped the world, do you think they all felt ready? Do you think Jung felt ready when he walked away from Freud, choosing solitude over comfort, facing the abyss of his own unconscious with no map, no mentor, and no guarantee? He did it anyway, because truth meant more than approval, because the call of the soul was louder than the comfort of the tribe. That is what you're being summoned to now. Not to be liked, not to be validated, but to be forged. And forging requires fire. Forging requires the collapse of everything weak inside you so that something indestructible can rise. That's why discipline is sacred. It is the crucifixion of the lower self for the resurrection of something godlike. But you don't get that without blood. You don't get that without silence. You don't get that without burying the version of you that lives on short-term gratification and planting something that will take seasons, years to bloom. Because discipline doesn't care about your mood. It doesn't flinch when you're tired. It doesn't negotiate with your fear. It is deaf to your excuses. It doesn't require applause. It only requires consistency. And consistency is not sexy. Consistency is not Instagrammable. It is showing up to write when the page is empty. Showing up to train when your body is sore. Showing up to grow when your ego is bruised. Showing up to heal when your heart is tired. Showing up to lead when no one believes in you. Especially then, because leadership starts inside. And the first person you must lead is the version of you that keeps trying to escape responsibility. That little voice that says, just this once, you deserve a break. You can start tomorrow. That voice is the enemy, and it is cunning. It will come dressed as kindness. It will come wrapped in self-care. It will sound like logic, reason, compassion. But make no mistake, it is sabotage. Because real self-care isn't comfort. It's self-respect. And self-respect is earned by doing the hard thing, by choosing alignment over ease, by becoming the kind of person who can trust themselves, not because they always feel strong, but because they always choose strength when it matters most. That's discipline, not rigidity, not coldness, but radical, sacred integrity. It's building an unshakable center, one that does not move when life does, one that does not fracture under pressure, one that is rooted, grounded, clear. It does not sway with the opinions of others, or the chaos of the world, or the seduction of comfort. It simply moves forward, unstoppable. Because when your discipline is louder than your doubt, you don't need to fake confidence, you don't need to pretend, you don't need to wait for inspiration or affirmation or the right moment. You are the moment. You are the reason. You are the storm. And those around you will feel it. They'll call it confidence, resilience, drive, but it's not. It's something more primal, something more ancient. It's a force that built pyramids, crossed oceans, tore down empires, and gave birth to revolutions. It is the fire of human will, unshackled from the slavery of emotion. Not emotionless, but emotion-led, not emotion-ruled. That's the distinction. You can cry and still show up. You can fear and still act. You can fail and still move forward. Because discipline isn't about feeling nothing. It's about being led by something higher than your feelings. That's how kings rise. That's how empires are born from nothing but grit, vision, and relentless self-mastery. And that same fire is in you, not in some distant, ideal future version of you now. Here, in this breath, in this moment, but you must choose it. No one can give it to you. No one can inject it into your blood. No one can fight this battle for you. They can cheer, they can clap, they can pray, but they cannot make the decision. That is yours, and yours alone. And every day you delay it, you deepen the groove of weakness. Every time you say tomorrow, you feed the beast that lives off your delay. And one day, if you don't fight back, that beast becomes your master. But not you, because you are awake now. And once you've seen the truth, there's no unseeing it. Now, you know that the path to freedom is paved with small, brutal, sacred acts of discipline, that the only way out is through, that the only way up is down into the grit, into the mess, into the commitment that costs you everything except your soul. And you're ready, not because you feel ready, but because the pain of staying the same is now louder than the fear of change. So, you rise, you tighten your grip, you set your eyes forward, not upward, because you're not looking for something to lift you. You are building the ground beneath your own feet. And with every step, every hour, every drop of sweat and silence, you become undeniable. That's what happens when your discipline speaks louder than your doubt. The world stops asking if you'll make it and starts preparing for the moment you do. And here's the irony no one wants to admit. When you stop chasing validation, the world starts offering it. Not because you beg for it, not because you marketed yourself to death, but because people can smell someone who doesn't flinch. They can feel when you're no longer swayed by every gust of wind, every rumor, every trend, every criticism. They can sense it in your silence, in the way you walk into a room and your energy arrives 5 seconds before you do. That is not ego, that is not arrogance, that is the scent of self-command. The rarest currency in a world addicted to noise. But it doesn't come from pretending to be strong. It comes from being at war with your weakness and winning. Not once, but daily, hourly. In every microscopic moment you think doesn't matter. In the decision to put down your phone when your mind begs for distraction. In the decision to stay present when every fiber of your being wants to run from the discomfort of now. You want to change your life? Then start by mastering the moment. Because the moment is all you ever actually have. And the way you live one moment is the way you live them all. You can't show up late for your soul and expect your life to be on time. You can't neglect the sacred and expect the world to treat you with reverence. And make no mistake, this life, this breath, this opportunity to rise and shape and create it is sacred. But only the disciplined can see it. Because only the disciplined have the eyes to see clearly through the fog of their own excuses. Carl Jung once said, your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakens. And discipline is what allows you to look inside, not as a tourist, but as a warrior, to see the dark parts without turning away, to confront the laziness, the resentment, the fear, the apathy, the addiction to comfort, and say, I see you, but you do not rule me. That's what Jung meant by integrating the shadow. It's not about pretending you're pure. It's about owning the fire, the rage, the chaos, and transmuting it into fuel. Your darkness is not the enemy. Your denial of it is. Because what you repress controls you. What you face frees you. And the bridge between seeing your weakness and transforming it is discipline. Not emotion, not insight, not even belief. Discipline is the alchemy of the soul. The great transformation happens not when you think different, but when you act different in the face of the same doubt, the same fear, the same temptation to run. And if you keep showing up, something extraordinary happens. Your brain changes. Literally. Neuroplasticity is not some pop science buzzword. It's the ancient truth now proven in modern labs. Your actions carve your mind, like a river carves stone. And the more you act from discipline, the more it becomes who you are. Not a chore, not a burden, a baseline. And you begin to crave the struggle. You begin to seek the edge, not because you're a masochist, but because your soul finally remembers who you are. You are not soft. You are not meant for the sidelines. You are not built to whimper through life, waiting for the world to hand you meaning. You are the architect of meaning, the sculptor of self, the guardian of your own goddamn mind. And that kind of power, it scares people. It threatens the culture of ease. It disrupts the empire of average. It reveals every lie people told themselves about why they couldn't, why they shouldn't, why they settled, why they stopped. And so they may mock you, doubt you, laugh behind your back. Let them. You're not here to be understood. You're here to be undeniable. And the most undeniable force on this planet is not talent, not charisma, not luck. It is a human being who does not quit, who does not wait, who does not need applause to do what is necessary. That's discipline. And when your life is built on it, your legacy will speak long after you're gone. Because here's the truth. Most people die never learning. Comfort is forgettable. But discipline echoes. Discipline builds nations, writes scriptures, shapes children into legends, carves futures out of dust. It is the invisible force behind every name you remember, every revolution that didn't die in theory, every soul who refused to surrender to circumstance. And now it's your turn. You do not need a sign. This is your sign. You do not need more time. This is the time. You do not need permission. Your existence is permission. So take it. Burn the excuses. Silence the noise. Tear down the altar where you worship your limitations and build a throne where discipline sits as king. Not just when life is easy, especially when it isn't. Because that's the real test. Not what you do when you're full, but what you do when you're empty. Not what you do when the world claps, but what you do when no one notices. Not how you act when you're praised, but how you show up when you're doubted, ignored, rejected. That's where the gods are made. In darkness, in pressure, in silence. And you're not just ready for it. You were born for it. So here we are. You've walked through the fire. Not once, but step by step through every word, through every truth you already knew, but were afraid to face. And now there's nowhere left to run. No more stories, no more reasons, no more waiting. You know what you must do. And I'm not here to inspire you. I'm here to remind you, you are the inspiration. You are the proof. You are the unshakable force that doubt could not silence. You are the quiet storm that will not stop, no matter the noise. Because your discipline has become louder than your fear, louder than your wounds, louder than the old identity you were told to wear like a cage. You have burned that mask, and in its ashes, something holy has risen. Your future isn't waiting for you. It's watching you. Watching to see if you're willing to be loyal to the fire that lives inside you. If you will obey your deeper knowing, not your fleeting moods. If you will kneel, not to fear, but to the sacred discipline that makes gods of men. Because this is what no one tells you. You don't build confidence by chanting affirmations. You build it by surviving yourself. You build it by doing what you said you'd do, again and again, until it rewires your soul, until your presence makes weak men tremble, not because you're better, but because you are what they abandoned. You are the man or woman who chose a path of no applause, the path of silence, of repetition, of insane obsessive clarity. That path doesn't come with praise. It comes with power. And now it lives in you. Let it speak through everything you do. Let it bleed into your habits, your eyes, your posture, your presence. Let it shape your future like a sword drawn from fire, not for show, not for ego, but for truth. Because this is your truth now. My discipline is louder than my doubt. Say it again. My discipline is louder than my fear. My discipline is louder than my fatigue. My discipline is louder than my insecurity. My discipline is louder than anyone who ever told me I couldn't. And because of that, I am inevitable. Because you don't need to be the most talented. You don't need to be the fastest. You don't need to be the smartest. You just need to be the one who keeps showing up. Unapologetic, unrelenting, unavailable to weakness. This world belongs to those who move in silence and strike with consistency. And that is who you are now. Not someday, now. The war is not outside, it never was. The war is inside, and you just won it. Now rise, and don't look back.